The sun over Targus 7 was dull and red, casting long shadows across the rocky arena carved deep into the moon's surface. Dust hung in the air, stirred by the hum of engines as dozens of alien ships hovered above the crater. Inside the arena stood silent stone walls, each one etched with names in many languages, names of those who had faced the test and never walked out. Above the arena, in a ring-shaped platform built into the sky, sat the members of the Galactic Accord. They were the leaders of 1,000 worlds, gathered to witness something no human had ever seen. At the center of the council sat the Varnock Empire, a powerful reptilian species with scaled skin like old armor and eyes that gleamed with pride. They had ruled over smaller worlds for centuries and viewed Earth as little more than a noisy upstart species. When Earth applied for full membership in the Accord, the Varnock had protested. They said humans were too young, too emotional, too wild. So they proposed a test, not of politics or science, but of survival. They would send one human into the pit with a Threxian predator, a creature bred on a world where everything killed to live. No weapons, no help, just a human and the monster. If the human survived 10 minutes, Earth would be considered worthy. If not, the vote would fail. No species had ever passed the test, not one. The crowd above was silent as a black transport ship flew low and opened its hatch above the arena. From inside, a lone figure dropped down. She hit the ground hard, dust rising around her. Her name was Sergeant Alia Chen, a recon marine from Earth's Outer Systems Command. She was tall and lean, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Her armor had been stripped away. She wore only a basic utility suit, gray with a few survival tools strapped to her legs. She looked up at the alien faces watching from above, then turned toward the massive iron gate at the far end of the arena. Her fingers flexed. Her heartbeat was steady. The air buzzed with tension. Somewhere behind the gate, something moved. Heavy footsteps. Snorting breath. A low growl echoed through the sand. Then the gate creaked and rose slowly, shadows spilling out from the dark tunnel behind it. The Threxian predator stepped forward. Its body was long and coiled with thick black muscles. Spikes jutted from its back. It had no eyes, only slits for breathing and a wide mouth full of blade-like teeth. Its senses were sharper than any machine. It could smell blood through stone and hear a heartbeat from miles away. It stepped into the arena and sniffed the air, head turning toward the human. Alia stood still, her hands loose at her sides. The creature let out a shriek and dropped to all fours, claws digging into the rock. For a second, no one moved. The galaxy waited. Then the predator charged with terrifying speed, claws tearing the earth as it ran straight at her. But Alia didn't run. She moved fast, rolling aside at the last second, the creature's claw missing her by inches. She grabbed a bone half buried. In the dirt, a sharp chunk left behind by someone else who had failed this test, and jammed it into the predator's leg as it passed. The beast screamed in pain, spinning around, blood spilling onto the sand. It turned toward her, slower now, and the entire arena went silent in shock. She had drawn first blood. Alia's heart pounded, but her mind was clear as she stared at the creature before her. The predator was massive, towering over her by nearly twice her height. Its black, chitinous skin gleamed under the harsh lights of the arena, and its long limbs ended in sharp claws that could tear through steel. Its face was terrifying, a wide mouth filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth and no visible eyes, only deep slits where its nostrils flared. It moved slowly at first, circling Alia, trying to use its senses to locate her exactly. The air was heavy with tension. Alia didn't flinch. She crouched low, muscles coiled like a spring. Her training took over. She had studied the Threxian predator's behavior for years. She knew it hunted by scent and heat, striking hard and fast, relying on surprise and power rather than intelligence. She waited for it to make the first move, knowing that any mistake could mean death. Suddenly, the creature lunged. Its claws sliced through the air just inches from Alia's face. She rolled to the side, feeling the hot rush of air as the sharp talons missed her by a fraction of a second. She scrambled up and dashed toward a narrow canyon-like path carved into the arena's side, hoping to use the rocky terrain to her advantage. The predator followed, its heavy steps pounding the ground, shaking dust into the air. Alia could hear the creature's heavy breathing, its growls growing louder. She reached the canyon and turned quickly, facing the beast. It charged again, more carefully this time, aware that she was not an easy target. Alia spotted a pile of broken stones and metal scraps near the canyon's edge. Without hesitation, she grabbed a jagged piece of bone lying in the dust, a remnant from a past challenger, and wrapped a few loose wires from her emergency pack around it to create a crude spear. Her hands moved quickly, steady despite the danger. The predator lunged once more, faster than before, but Alia was ready. As it came close, she jabbed the electrified spear into its leg. The creature screamed, a deep, horrifying sound that echoed through the arena, shaking the stone walls. It spun, claws swiping wildly, but the pain slowed it down. Blood dripped onto the red sand, and the crowd watching from above gasped in shock. For the first time, the predator had been hurt. Alia did not pause to celebrate. She knew the battle was far from over. The creature was wounded but still deadly, its rage now burning brighter. She took a deep breath, wiping sweat from her brow, and scanned the arena quickly for any possible escape routes or traps. The arena was designed to be unforgiving, no help, no weapons, no mercy. Every inch was a challenge. The predator growled low. Its eyes, though blind, seemed to focus on her with more intensity, as if sensing her determination. Alia tightened her grip on the spear, feeling its small electric charge hum through her fingers. Her mind raced, recalling everything she had learned in training: patience, agility, clever use of the environment. She knew this was not just a fight of strength, but a battle of wits. The seconds ticked by, each one filled with danger and tension. The galaxy watched in silence. No one expected a human to last this long, let alone fight back. But Alia was not just any human. She was a symbol of Earth's stubbornness, of humanity's refusal to back down when faced with overwhelming odds. The predator lunged again, more cautiously this time, and Alia was ready to meet it head-on. She dodged, struck, and moved with fierce determination. The fight was far from over, but Alia's courage had already changed everything. The test was no longer just about survival. It was about proving that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The battle inside the arena grew more intense as the minutes passed. Alia's breathing was steady but sharp, every muscle ready for action. The predator, though wounded, was not weakened in spirit. Its growls echoed like thunder, and its claws carved deep grooves into the rocky ground as it charged again and again. Alia moved with purpose, using every inch of the arena to her advantage. She darted between giant boulders, slipped into narrow crevices, and climbed jagged walls to stay ahead of the beast. The creature was fast, but Alia was smarter. She noticed how it hesitated at certain angles and how it struggled to follow her into tight spaces. She realized the predator relied on brute force and raw speed, not clever tactics. Alia seized every chance to strike back, jabbing with her improvised spear or slashing with a sharp piece of broken metal she had found near the canyon's edge. Each hit landed with a spark or a hiss of pain from the creature, but the predator's thick armor-like skin absorbed much of the damage. Still, Alia could see the creature was slowing down, its heavy breathing more ragged, and its movements less precise. Around the arena, dust swirled as the fight wore on. Above them, the leaders of the Galactic Accord leaned forward in their seats, unable to look away. For the first time in history, a human was not only surviving but standing toe-to-toe with a Threxian predator. Alia's mind raced through memories of training drills, battles on distant worlds, and countless simulations. She remembered her squad back on Earth and the promises they had made to protect humanity's place among the stars. This fight was bigger than her. It was about every person who had ever believed humans could be more than primitive creatures. As the predator lunged yet again, Alia noticed something unexpected, a brief hesitation in its attack. It paused, sensing something in her beyond just fear or survival. There was respect or maybe even awe. Alia's eyes narrowed. She understood that this was not just a fight for life, It was a challenge for honor, for recognition. The creature's growls turned into something almost like a low rumble, and Alia could feel the tension shift. Suddenly, from above, the arena lights dimmed and a hush fell over the crowd. Alia's senses sharpened. Then, distant alarms blared. An emergency signal. The outer sensors of the arena detected multiple unknown ships rapidly approaching the system. The Galactic Accord was under threat, and the spectacle of the test was suddenly interrupted by a real danger. Alia's mind switched instantly. The Predator, for the first time, seemed alert to the new threat as well. The leaders watching from their seats exchanged worried glances. The aliens, who had been so confident in their control of the situation, now faced an unknown enemy arriving faster than expected. Alia realized the test had become irrelevant. There was a new fight coming, one that would demand more than just survival skills. It would need courage, teamwork, and something deeper. As the Predator and Alia locked eyes, an unspoken understanding passed between them. For a moment, the enemy was no longer a monster, but a warrior, recognizing a worthy opponent. The humans and the alien leaders both waited in silence, hearts pounding as the shadow of the incoming fleet grew larger in the sky. The real battle was about to begin. The sudden arrival of the unknown fleet threw the entire Galactic Accord into chaos. Alarms screamed through the Grand Council chambers, shouts echoed among the delegates, and emergency lights bathed the arena in a harsh red glow. Ships from dozens of alien species scrambled to their battle stations, but confusion slowed their response. The new enemy was unlike anything anyone had seen before. Massive warships with black hulls that shimmered like shadows, moving faster than any known technology. Alia's sharp eyes caught sight of them even from the arena floor. She knew this was no ordinary attack. This was a calculated strike meant to crush the fragile peace between worlds. Despite the danger, her training kicked in. She sprinted to the edge of the arena, dodging debris and loose rocks, and activated her emergency comm device. Static crackled as she sent a quick report to Earth Command. The message was simple but urgent. Unknown fleet approaching fast. Galactic Accord under attack. Request immediate backup. The Predator, once her deadly opponent, suddenly shifted its focus. Instead of attacking Alia, it turned its head skyward, growling low. The creature seemed to sense the real threat better than many of the delegates above. In that moment, an uneasy alliance formed between the two unlikely fighters. Alia and the Predator moved together, scanning the horizon for signs of the invading fleet's next move. The arena's massive stone walls suddenly began to shake as distant explosions rocked the surrounding space station. Fighters from the Accord raced toward the enemy, lasers cutting through the void, but they were vastly outnumbered. Alia's comm crackled with voice reports of worlds falling under fire and outposts being overwhelmed. Fear and determination mixed in her veins. The battle had shifted from a test of survival to a desperate fight for the future of the galaxy. Without weapons or armor, Alia used every skill she had. She led the Predator toward the control panel of the arena, a relic from an older time with buttons and levers meant to control gates and defenses. Alia worked fast, smashing buttons and pulling levers to activate whatever defenses remained active. Shields flickered on, and the outer gates slammed shut with a deep rumble, buying precious time. The Predator stood guard, muscles tense, ready to pounce on any threat that might slip through. Above, the Galactic Accord's leaders finally organized a counterattack. But it was clear the surprise fleet had the upper hand. Alia's mind raced as she looked around the arena, thinking about Earth's fleet somewhere light years away and whether backup would come in time. She felt the weight of thousands of lives on her shoulders. Suddenly, a piercing alarm signaled a breach. A group of smaller, faster ships, dark and sleek, slipped past the outer defenses and hurtled toward the arena itself. Alia gripped her spear tightly, ready to fight again. The Predator growled, crouching low as the attackers landed. Aliens with strange, glowing weapons poured out, their faces hidden behind helmets shaped like twisted skulls. Alia and the Predator moved as one, fighting side by side. The Predator's claws tore through the invaders while Alia used her spear and quick moves to disable as many as she could. The fight was brutal and close, with sparks flying from weapons and shouts echoing through the stone walls. Even with no advanced tech, Alia's courage and the Predator's savage power turned the tide of this small battle. But she knew this was only the beginning. The true war was just starting, and every second counted. As reinforcements from Earth's fleet finally appeared in the sky, glowing ships bursting through the darkness, Alia caught her breath and prepared to lead the counterattack that would decide the fate of the galaxy. She looked once more at the Predator, and for the first time she saw not an enemy but a fierce ally, ready to fight alongside humanity against the darkness coming for them all. The battle above the arena turned into a dazzling and terrifying storm of light and sound. Earth's fleet, sleek and powerful, moved in perfect formation, unleashing a barrage of energy blasts and missiles against the shadowy enemy ships. The invaders were fierce and relentless, their ships twisting through space like deadly predators themselves. Alia stood on the arena's edge, eyes fixed on the unfolding war, her heart pounding with hope and fear. She had never seen anything like this. The clash of ancient power and new technology. A fight where every move could mean life or death. Her hands tightened around her spear, the small electric charge humming through it, reminding her that she was ready to face whatever came next. Back inside the arena, the Predator watched the space battle with a strange intensity. Though it could not fully understand human technology, it sensed the importance of this fight for survival. For a moment, the creature relaxed its stance beside Alia, and she reached out, touching its rough arm lightly, a silent pact of trust between them. As Earth's fleet engaged the enemy, Alia received word through her comm. The invading force was a lost faction called the Clithar, a ruthless group that had broken away from the Galactic Accord long ago, now returning with vengeance and deadly new weapons. The Clithar ships moved fast, using stealth technology that made them nearly invisible, and their fighters were trained killers. Despite Earth's superior firepower, the Clithar's guerrilla tactics made the battle unpredictable and brutal. Alia knew they had to fight smart, not just hard. The Predator growled low, sensing the rising danger again as small squads of Clithar soldiers began landing near the arena, trying to cut off any escape or reinforcements. Alia, without hesitation, led a fierce counterattack, moving quickly with the Predator through narrow tunnels and ruined corridors of the ancient space station. They struck fast and hard, disabling enemy squads before they could regroup. The Predator's strength and Alia's speed and intelligence made them a deadly team, each covering the other's weaknesses, but the Clithar were relentless. One brutal firefight left Alia wounded in the shoulder, blood staining her shirt, but she refused to slow down. The pain reminded her of everything she was fighting for: the safety of Earth, the honor of humanity, and the fragile peace that still hung by a thread in the galaxy. As the fight wore on, the space above shifted again. Earth's fleet unleashed a powerful new weapon, a massive pulse of energy that lit up the darkness and struck deep into the enemy lines. The Clithar ships shuddered and exploded, but their leaders remained fierce and determined. Alia knew this battle was far from over. With her wound burning and the Predator by her side, she prepared for the final push to secure the arena and send a message to all who doubted humanity's place in the stars. Every breath she took was filled with fire and resolve. The galaxy was watching, and humanity would not back down. Alia and the Predator surged forward into the next wave of combat, ready to face whatever came with fierce courage and unbreakable spirit. The final battle was like nothing Alia had ever experienced before, a wild storm of chaos and courage that shook the very stars. The arena, once a place of testing, had become a battlefield where hope and desperation clashed with brutal force. Alia, her shoulders still aching but her spirit unbroken, moved through the rubble with fierce determination. The Predator, now more than just an enemy or an ally, fought beside her with unmatched power, tearing through the last waves of Clithar soldiers trying to take control. Above them, Earth's fleet engaged the enemy flagship in a fierce duel, beams of light and explosions lighting up the dark void. The Clithar flagship was enormous, its hull covered in jagged armor plates that shimmered with deadly energy. Its weapons roared like thunder, firing blasts that shook nearby ships and sent debris flying. Alia knew this was the moment everything depended on. She and the Predator had to hold the ground, keep the enemy from breaking through the arena's defenses until Earth's fleet could finish the fight. Sweat mixed with blood on Alia's face as she ducked under a blast, then rose to strike with her spear. Each move was a dance of survival and defiance. The Predator's growls filled the air, a fierce echo of their shared fight. Time seemed to slow as Alia's mind focused on one goal: victory. The Clithar soldiers fought with desperation, knowing defeat meant the end of their dark ambitions. Alia caught glimpses of their faces behind helmets: fear, anger, and something else, respect for a human who refused to back down. In a moment of fierce courage, Alia charged a group of enemies trying to flank them, moving with the skill and speed of a seasoned warrior. The Predator covered her back, slashing through anyone who got too close. Their teamwork was perfect, two very different beings united by a common cause. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the arena. The Clithar flagship, caught in a perfect strike from Earth's fleet, began to break apart. Fire and debris rained down and the enemy ships faltered. Alia seized the moment, rallying the remaining defenders to push the Clithar back. The invaders' resolve broke, and one by one they fell or fled into the darkness. Silence slowly returned, broken only by Alia's heavy breathing and the Predator's low growls. The Galactic Accord leaders and all watching had witnessed something extraordinary. Humans standing strong against impossible odds, fighting not just for themselves but for all who believed in peace. Alia looked at the Predator, a warrior whose fierce eyes now held something like respect and even a strange friendship. Though enemies moments ago, they had become symbols of unity and strength. As rescue ships arrived, Earth's commanders hailed Alia's courage and the Predator's unexpected alliance. The story of the battle spread quickly, inspiring hope across the galaxy. Alia knew the war was not fully over. Darkness would return, and challenges lay ahead. But the message was clear. Humanity was a force to be reckoned with, capable of facing any threat with awe-inspiring courage and heart. The Predator, once a symbol of fear, had become a reminder of what respect and understanding could achieve, even between the fiercest enemies. Together, they had shown the galaxy the true meaning of strength. And from that day on, no one would ever test humanity with a Predator again without knowing what awaited them.